"Careful, human. You've been in a coma for over 20 years," said the worried alien supervisor. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Blue lights moved slowly across the walls, glowing like calm stars. Tubes, screens, and floating medical tools surrounded a single glass pod at the center of the chamber. Inside the pod lay a human. He had been there for a very long time. Supervisor Krathel floated closer, his thin limbs folding in a familiar sign of worry. Krathel had overseen this medical wing for nearly 60 cycles. He had treated wounded soldiers, explorers, and civilians from dozens of species. Most patients healed. Some did not, but this one was different. The human had not woken up for over 20 years. "Status report," Krathel said gently. A medical drone blinked. "Patient, human male. Designation, Eli Carter. Life signs stable. Neural activity increasing." Krathel froze. "Increasing?" "Yes, Supervisor. Brain activity has risen by 12% in the last 3 minutes." That was impossible, or at least it should have been. Humans were classified as fragile thinkers, emotional, short-lived. Their bodies were strong for their size, but their minds were believed to tire quickly under prolonged stress. That was what the Coalition believed when they first met humanity. That belief had led to many mistakes. Krathel looked through the glass at the human's face. Eli looked older than the images stored in the records. His hair had streaks of gray now. His face showed lines of quiet struggle, even in sleep. He had been injured during humanity's first deep space contact mission, a navigation error, a spatial storm. The human ship had nearly been torn apart. The aliens had rescued the survivors, but Eli had been found unconscious, his brain damaged by overload. The doctors expected him to die. Instead, he entered a coma that never ended, until now. Alarms chimed softly, not loud enough to frighten the patient if he woke. Krathel waved his hand, calling up a transparent screen. "Medical team," he said, keeping his voice calm. "We may be seeing first-stage awakening." Several alien figures gathered behind him. Tall ones, small ones, scaled and smooth, all stared at the human. "After 20 years," one whispered. "That is beyond expectation," another said. Krathel nodded. "Yes, that is why we must be careful." Inside the pod, Eli's fingers twitched. It was small, almost nothing. But everyone saw it. The machines responded instantly. The pod's fluid level lowered slightly. The air inside warmed. The human's chest rose and fell more deeply now, no longer guided fully by machines. Krathel felt a strange tightening in his chest. He had watched many beings wake from long sleep, but never a human after this long. "Reduce stimulation," he ordered. Slowly, the drone obeyed. Inside the pod, Eli's mind stirred. Darkness had been his world for a very long time, not empty darkness but full darkness. Thoughts without sound, memories without images, endless time to think. He had not known he was thinking, but his brain had not rested. Dreams came and went, memories of Earth, of blue skies and training rooms, of laughter before the mission. Then pain, then nothing. Then thought. He had replayed problems, training exercises, old puzzles. New ideas formed without words. His mind had built and rebuilt itself over and over, searching for balance. Now something changed. There was warmth, sound, pressure. Eli's eyes fluttered under closed lids. The machines noticed immediately. "Supervisor," the drone said. "Visual cortex responding." Krathel leaned forward. "Begin wake protocol. Slowly. We do not know the human limits." The glass pod opened with a soft hiss. Air touched Eli's skin. His eyes opened. At first everything was blur and light. Shapes moved around him, tall shapes, too tall, too many. His heart raced. "Easy," Krathel said softly, though he knew the human could not understand the words yet. "Easy, human." Eli tried to move. His body felt heavy, like it belonged to someone else. His muscles trembled, weak from years of rest. Panic rose, but only for a moment. Then his breathing slowed. Krathel noticed that. Most newly awakened patients panicked. Their minds struggled to catch up. The human did not scream, did not thrash, he observed. Eli's eyes focused slowly. The blur sharpened into colors, then forms. Strange beings, strange room, not Earth. He swallowed, his throat burned. A voice spoke, not words, but a calm tone translated by a soft device near his head. "Careful, human," the voice said gently. "You have been in a coma for over 20 years." Eli stared. 20 years. The words settled into his mind without shock. He did not deny them. He did not cry out. Instead, his eyes moved, taking in every detail. Machines, alien bodies, symbols on walls. He was not confused. Krathel felt a ripple of unease. "Can you understand me?" the supervisor asked. Eli's lips parted. His voice was rough, unused. "Yes," he said quietly. The room went completely silent. "He speaks clearly," one doctor whispered. Krathel floated closer. "Do you know who you are?" Eli blinked once. "Eli Carter, Human Exploration Corps, Mission 1. "You remember?" Krathel asked. "Yes," Eli replied. "I remember everything." That should not have been possible. Memory loss was expected. Brain damage had been severe. "And how do you feel?" Krathel asked. Eli paused, considering the question carefully. "Like I just finished thinking," he said. The aliens exchanged uneasy looks. "That is not a normal answer," Krathel said. Eli's eyes moved back to him, sharp, focused. "I had time," Eli said. "A lot of it." Krathel felt something cold pass through him. Medical scans updated rapidly. Neural activity was high. Very high, but stable, too stable. "You must rest," Krathel said. "Your body is weak." "I know," Eli replied, "but my mind is." He slowly lifted one hand. It shook, but it obeyed him. "How long have you been watching me?" Eli asked. Krathel hesitated, then answered truthfully. 20 years. We believed you might never wake." Eli nodded slowly. "You were wrong." That was not arrogance, it was simple fact. Krathel studied the human carefully now. The calm, the awareness, the lack of fear. Humans were supposed to be emotional. This one was controlled. "Why didn't your mind shut down?" one scientist asked. Eli thought for a moment. "Humans don't stop when trapped," he said. "We adapt." Krathel recorded that statement silently. The human's eyes drifted toward a flickering panel on the wall. "That system is failing," Eli said suddenly. The engineers froze. "What?" Krathel asked. "The energy loop," Eli continued. "It's bleeding output every cycle. You've compensated instead of fixing the core issue." The room erupted in quiet shock. "That information is restricted," one engineer said. Eli looked at them calmly. "I can see the pattern from here." Krathel felt his worry deepen. This human had been asleep for 20 years, yet he was already noticing things they had missed. "Rest now," Krathel said firmly. "We will speak later." Eli did not argue. He closed his eyes slowly, but before sleep took him again, he spoke one last sentence. "I wasn't asleep," he said. "I was preparing." Krathel watched the human rest once more, his mind racing. For the first time since the rescue, the supervisor understood something important. The coma was not a failure. It was a transformation. And whatever humanity was becoming, it had started here. Eli Carter slept again, but this sleep was different. The machine said his body was resting, yet his brain remained active, moving in smooth, steady patterns. Not chaotic, not damaged, purposeful. Supervisor Krathel stood outside the medical chamber, watching the flowing data with growing concern. "This should not be possible," one of the senior doctors said quietly. "After 20 years, his neural pathways should be weakened." "They are stronger," Krathel replied. That was the problem. Hours later, Eli woke again. This time there was no panic in the room. The medical team was ready. Lights were softer, sounds were low. The pod opened slowly, allowing Eli to breathe freely. His eyes opened, clear and alert. "How long this time?" Eli asked. 4 standard hours, Krathel said. Eli nodded. "Better." He tried to sit up. His body protested, muscles trembling, but he did not force it. "I'll wait," he said calmly. Crathel observed closely. Humans were supposed to be impatient. This one understood limits. You surprise us, human, Crathel said. Eli looked at him. You expected weakness. Yes, Crathel admitted. We classified your species as mentally vulnerable under prolonged stress. Eli smiled faintly. That's when we do our best work. They helped him into a reclining medical chair. Tubes were removed carefully. Eli flexed his fingers, testing control. How long since the accident? He asked. 21 of your Earth years, Crathel replied. Eli exhaled slowly. Did Earth survive first contact? Yes, Crathel said. Your people withdrew after the incident, but they learned quickly. Eli closed his eyes for a moment, relief passing through his face. What happened to the others? He asked. Some returned home. Some joined the coalition as observers, Crathel said. You were the only one who did not wake. Eli absorbed that in silence. Then his eyes opened again, sharp. Your station, he said. It's old. Crathel tilted his head. Yes, one of our longest-running facilities. And failing, Eli added. The room went quiet. You mentioned this before, Crathel said carefully. Explain. Eli gestured weakly toward the ceiling. Your systems are layered. Every time something breaks, you add another fix on top. It keeps working, but only barely. That is efficient, one engineer said. No, Eli replied. It's safe, not efficient. Crathel floated closer. How do you know this? Eli considered his answer. When you can't move, you think. When you can't act, you imagine outcomes. My brain had nothing else to do. He paused, then added, I replayed failure. The words unsettled them. You think about failure? Crathel asked. All the time, Eli said. Humans learn fastest that way. They brought him nutrient fluids. Eli drank slowly, strength returning little by little. You should not be exerting yourself, Crathel said. I'm not, Eli replied. I'm observing. Over the next few days, Eli remained in recovery, but his presence changed the medical wing. He asked questions, simple ones, direct ones. Why is this corridor curved? Why are these systems separated? Why do you avoid shutting things down fully? The aliens answered as best they could, and Eli listened. Then he started pointing out problems, small at first. A timing delay here, an energy loss there. Each time the engineers checked. Each time he was right. Word spread quickly through the station. The human was not just awake, he was seeing things no one else saw. Crathel requested permission to move Eli to a controlled observation room. Not a cell, not a prison, a room with windows. Eli noticed that too. You trust me, he said. We are trying, Crathel replied. Eli was placed near a large transparent wall. Beyond it, stars drifted silently. I missed this, Eli said softly. You have seen space before, Crathel asked. Yes, Eli said, but not like this, not knowing I might never go back. That thought stayed with Crathel. Later that cycle, alarms rang, not loud but urgent. A power fluctuation rippled through the station. Engineers rushed to stabilize it. Eli felt the vibration through the floor. That's the loop I mentioned, he said. Crathel turned sharply. Can you help? Eli hesitated. His body was still weak. Give me a display, he said. A screen floated in front of him. Eli studied it, eyes moving fast. Your energy flow is too controlled, he said. You don't allow for mistakes. That makes no sense, an engineer said. Mistakes are dangerous. So is rigidity, Eli replied. He pointed at the screen. You need a pressure release, a failure that doesn't break everything. Silence. That violates safety protocols, Crathel said. Eli looked at him. So does doing nothing. The power dropped another level. Crathel made a decision. Do it, he ordered. Engineers hesitated, then followed Eli's guidance. Systems were rerouted. One section was allowed to shut down completely. The station shook, then stabilized. Energy levels rose. The alarm stopped. The room filled with quiet disbelief. It worked, someone whispered. Crathel stared at Eli. You saved the station, he said. Eli shook his head. No, I just let it fail safely. That idea spread fast. Within cycles, Eli was consulting with engineers, scientists, and system planners, always seated, always monitored but never ignored. Some aliens feared him. "He is changing how we think," one warned. "Yes," Krathel replied, "and perhaps we need that." Eli learned more about the coalition, about species that lived thousands of years, about cultures that avoided risk at all costs. "You've had too much time to be careful," Eli said once. "And you?" Krathel asked. Eli smiled faintly. "Humans never do." One day, Eli asked for access to long-range data. "Why?" Krathel asked. "I need to know how Earth changed," Eli said. "They didn't stop after losing me." The data arrived. Human technology had advanced rapidly: faster ships, stronger minds, better cooperation under pressure. Eli watched quietly. "They learned," he said. "Good. You are proud," Krathel observed. "Yes," Eli replied, but not surprised. As the cycle ended, Krathel recorded a private note. "Human neural adaptation exceeds all projections. Prolonged coma did not weaken subject. It refined him." He looked through the window at Eli, gazing at the stars. The human had slept for 20 years, and somehow, while the body rested, the mind had been running forward the entire time. The station no longer felt the same. Ever since Eli Carter helped stop the energy failure, the atmosphere had changed. Engineers walked faster. Scientists argued more. Systems that had not been questioned for centuries were now being reviewed again and again. All because of one human who had slept for 20 years. Eli spent most of his time in a mobility chair now. His muscles were slowly growing stronger, but full recovery would take time. His mind, however, moved faster than ever. Supervisor Krathel stayed close. "You have disrupted our routines," Krathel said one cycle, watching Eli study a floating display. Eli did not look up. "Routines can become traps." "That is easy to say for a short-lived species," Krathel replied. "We survive by avoiding risk." Eli finally looked at him. "Humans survive by facing it." They were interrupted by a sharp alert. This time it was not local. A red symbol pulsed across the station network. "External signal," an officer announced. "Unknown origin, high-energy signature." Krathel felt a familiar fear. "Source." "Outer sector," the officer replied. "Approaching fast." Eli leaned forward slightly. "Show me." The display expanded. A massive object appeared, dark, angular, surrounded by unstable energy waves. "A void harvester," Krathel said quietly. Eli raised an eyebrow. "Sounds friendly." "It is not," Krathel replied. "It consumes stars, entire systems." Eli studied the image. "Why is it here?" "We do not know," Krathel said. "Our defenses are not designed for direct conflict. We hide, we wait." Eli shook his head. "You can't hide from something that eats suns." The station trembled slightly as long-range sensors overloaded. "The harvester will reach us in 3 cycles," an analyst said. Fear spread through the command center. Some called for evacuation. Others argued it was too late. Eli listened quietly, then he spoke. "You've never fought one, have you?" "No," Krathel admitted. "We avoid such threats." "That's the problem," Eli said. "You don't know how it thinks." "And you do?" Krathel asked. "No," Eli replied, "but I know how predators work." He tapped the display. "That thing follows energy density. You're glowing like a beacon." "We cannot shut down the station," an engineer protested. "You can," Eli said, "just not the way you think." They looked at him. "Your systems are centralized," Eli continued. "One core. One failure point, that's efficient until it is." "That core supports millions," Krathel said. Eli nodded. "Then split it." Silence followed. "That would destabilize everything," someone said. "Yes," Eli replied calmly, "for a short time." Krathel understood what Eli was suggesting. "You want us to break our own station," he said. "I want you to confuse the threat," Eli corrected. "Make yourself unpredictable." The room filled with uneasy murmurs. "We have never done such a thing," a senior engineer said. Eli looked at them one by one. Neither had humanity before we had to. Time was running out. Krathel made a choice. Prepare for controlled fragmentation, he ordered. Shock rippled through the room. You trust the human? Someone asked. Krathel answered honestly. I trust results. Eli guided them carefully, not with complex alien equations but with simple ideas. Think in pieces. Allow failure but limit damage. Don't fight the wave, change shape. As systems split into independent nodes, the station's energy signature faded, then scattered. To the harvester, it no longer looked like a feast. The massive object slowed, then turned. It drifted away, seeking brighter prey. Cheers filled the command center. Some aliens collapsed in relief. Eli leaned back, exhausted. You did it, Krathel said. No, Eli replied softly. You did. You just needed permission to try. News spread quickly across the coalition. A human had helped save an ancient station from a Star Eater. Reactions were mixed. Some leaders demanded Eli be studied, others wanted him silenced. A few wanted his help. Eli was called before the Coalition Council. Holographic figures filled the chamber, towering and ancient. You are dangerous, one said. You alter balance. Eli remained calm. Balance is just controlled instability. You speak as if you understand us, another said. I don't, Eli replied, but I understand survival. They questioned him for hours. Why humans adapted so quickly, why they accepted loss, why they allowed failure. Eli answered simply. We don't have a choice, he said. We're not the strongest, not the longest-lived. If we don't adapt, we die. The council fell silent. Finally, one question remained. What do you want, human? Eli did not hesitate. I want to contact Earth. Shock followed. You would reveal us, a counselor asked. They already know you exist, Eli replied. What they don't know is what's coming. Krathel understood. Threats like the harvester, he said. Yes, Eli replied. Humans don't wait for disasters to arrive anymore. After long debate, permission was granted. A communication array was prepared. Eli sat quietly as the signal traveled across vast distance. When the reply came, his hands trembled slightly. Earth answered. Humanity had not slowed down. They had grown stronger, smarter. More united, they had learned from loss. Eli smiled. They're ready, he said. And you? Krathel asked. Eli looked at the stars. I'm going home, he said, but not empty-handed. As the cycle ended, the coalition updated their records. Humanity, not fragile, not reckless. Adaptation specialists, crisis thinkers, and at the center of it all, one human who had slept for 20 years, only to wake and teach the galaxy how to survive pressure. The final change was still coming. And everyone could feel it. The stars outside the station shimmered with quiet beauty, but inside, the tension was palpable. The coalition was divided, and Eli Carter felt the weight of the decisions yet to come. His place among these alien beings had been secured by his actions, first saving the station from the Void Harvester, then helping the aliens rethink their entire system of survival. But now, more than ever, Eli understood that the hardest part was yet to come. Eli sat in the observation room staring at the distant lights of the stars, waiting for the next steps. He had always been a man of action, but here, in this vast, foreign space, he was out of his depth. He wasn't an engineer, a scientist, or a diplomat. He was just a human who had spent 20 years thinking about how to survive, and now he had to figure out how to bring that lesson back to Earth. Eli, Krathel's voice came softly through the door. Are you ready? Eli turned around. The alien supervisor had been by his side since the moment he woke, guiding him through every step, every decision. There was a trust between them now, born out of necessity and respect. Ready? Eli repeated, the words sounding strange in his mouth. For what? Krathel stepped into the room, floating gracefully as always. The council has reached a decision. They want to send a message to Earth through you. Eli didn't respond right away. The council was no longer the distant, mysterious body it had been when he first arrived. He had seen their vulnerability, their fear, and their awe. But now they were offering him something that made him uneasy, a chance to return home with a message that could change everything. "Do they think Earth is ready?" Eli asked quietly. Crathel paused, considering the question. "They don't think you are, but they trust you." Eli stood and moved toward the window. The station's massive engines hummed in the background, a reminder that this place was more than just a refuge, it was a bastion of survival. The people here had lived by the rule of control, of staying hidden, of managing risk. And yet, Eli had shown them that sometimes survival meant embracing chaos. "I don't want to go back as a messenger," Eli said, his voice low. "I'm not some ambassador. I'm a soldier, Crathel." "I'm just trying to make it back to Earth." Crathel floated closer. "You were always more than that, Eli. You've proven that." Eli looked at the alien supervisor, feeling the weight of his words. Maybe, in this strange new world, he was more. But back on Earth, he wasn't sure how the people would accept his message. They had been watching him, waiting for his return. "I need to speak with them directly," Eli said, turning back to the stars. "I don't trust any intermediary, not even you." Crathel's expression softened, though his alien features made it hard to tell. "Very well. We will send the message your way, and you may speak for yourself." The communication array was ready. A vast, complex system that could send a signal across the galaxy. Eli sat in front of it, feeling a sense of weightlessness in his chest. This wasn't just about sending a message. This was about the future of humanity, the future of the galaxy. Eli took a deep breath. He wasn't sure what to say at first. How could he put the years of isolation and thought into a simple message? How could he explain the importance of survival when his own survival had been a series of accidents, failures, and choices made out of necessity? Finally, the signal blinked. Earth was on the other side. "Do it," Crathel said, standing beside him. Eli nodded, adjusting his seat. He was ready now. As the screen flickered to life, Eli spoke the words that had been building inside him since the moment he woke. "This is Eli Carter," he began, his voice steady. "I've been in a coma for 20 years. In that time, I've had a lot of time to think. And what I've learned, what I've realized, is that humanity is more than just a species. We're a force of nature. We adapt. We survive. We learn from our mistakes." He paused, knowing the weight of his words. "When I was in that coma, I wasn't asleep. My body rested, but my mind didn't stop. It ran, it adapted, it searched for ways to survive. And now I'm awake. And I see the world differently. I see Earth differently." Eli's voice grew more intense, more urgent. "We've been afraid to take risks, afraid to fail. But that's how we grow, that's how we survive. We don't wait for danger to find us. We face it head on. We change. And when we do, we become stronger." He let the silence hang for a moment before continuing. "Earth is not alone. There are other species out there. Some of them will try to hide, some of them will try to control. But we as humans have something none of them have. We have resilience. We have the ability to adapt faster than anyone could predict, and if we learn to use that, we can change everything." Eli took another breath, his eyes fixed on the screen. "The Coalition doesn't think Earth is ready, but they don't know us. They don't know what we can do. What we will do. So listen to me, Earth is ready. We are ready, and we will not back down." The screen flickered once more before the message ended. Eli sat back, feeling a strange mix of relief and anticipation. For the first time since he woke up, he didn't feel like he was drifting aimlessly in space. He had spoken his truth, and now the rest was out of his hands. Crathel looked at him quietly. "You are bold, human. You have a way of making others believe." Eli smiled faintly. "I hope it works." Days passed, and the tension on the station remained high. The Coalition was still unsure how to proceed, but one thing was certain: Eli had made an impact. There was no longer any question about humanity's place in the galaxy. They were no longer considered weak, unpredictable, or fragile. They were adaptive survivors. and as Eli prepared to leave the station and head back to Earth, he felt a deep sense of finality. Crathel stood by his side as Eli looked out one last time at the distant stars. "You've changed everything, Eli," Crathel said quietly. "No," Eli replied. "I just reminded them of who we are." And as he boarded the shuttle that would carry him home, he knew that the road ahead would be just as uncertain as the one he had walked so far. But for the first time, he didn't fear the unknown, because humans never do.